facing a man-made disaster of global scale, our greatest threat in thousands of years, climate change. If we don't take action, the collapse of our civilizations and the extinction of much of the natural world is on the horizon. The world's people have spoken. Their message is clear. Time is running out.
The amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere now is 50% higher than it was in 1900. And not only are we piling in more and more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, but we are chopping down the forests of the earth at a great rate. And the forests themselves are the most efficient consumers of carbon dioxide that there are on Earth. We're going to destroy the ground because the soil of a rainforest isn't very good. We are actually tampering with the climate of the Earth and with the very atmosphere that we breathe. When we talk about the disappearance of the ozone layer, we don't know what will happen when the ozone layer goes. The world has become so fragile that we cannot subject the Earth to the tortures we can now inflict upon it. When we talk about the greenhouse effect, we're talking about something that affects the entire Earth. And these problems are life and death problems. They go to the root of the viability of the planet itself. If there's one thing that is biologically certain about the human species is that it is a human species, one species.
If we don't stop the destruction of our natural world, nothing else will matter. Simply put, if we don't protect nature, we can't protect ourselves.
The only way we can solve a problem is by a human solution. Never can we sit back and wait for miracles to save us. Miracles don't happen. Sweat happens. Efforts happens. Thought happens.
Climate change or global warming has become the biggest and most serious concerns in the world today. What is greenhouse gases? Greenhouse gases are gases that affect the Earth's energy balance. They are responsible for the so-called greenhouse effect. Carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide, these are most well-known greenhouse gases that can also be present in low concentrations in the atmosphere naturally. However, because of numerous man-made causes, the proportion has increased dramatically since the turn of the century. Everyone have to come forward to fight the issue and reduce the greenhouse gases. What should you do to help reduce greenhouse gas emissions? Possible ways to limit greenhouse gases given the negative consequences that humanity and the environment have already experienced. There are some possible ways to limit greenhouse gases. Making strides using less power, especially when it comes from coal or natural gas. Electricity consumption is responsible for a fifth of all world emissions. Replace incandescent light bulbs with LED bulbs which use less energy and save cost. The majority of our existing modes of transportation depends on fossil fuels such as gasoline for cars and jet fuel for flights. Transportation-related fossil fuel combustion accounts for 14% of global greenhouse gas emissions. We can cut pollutants by switching to substitute technologies which don't require petroleum like bicycles. Less cars on the road and fewer greenhouse gases in the atmosphere result from the usage of public transit, commuting, riding, and walking. Manufacturing emissions can be reduced in several ways. It's a good start to utilize materials that aren't made from fossil fuels and don't emit greenhouse emissions. Organic bioplastics, on the other hand, represents a suitable alternative fossil fuel-derived plastics. We can also take steps to increase the quantity of carbon dioxide removed from the atmosphere. Carbon sinks are areas where carbon dioxide is removed from the atmosphere. Tree planting, bamboo and other plants, for instance, expands the amount of carbon sinks. Soil health is maintained by farming practices such as vegetative propagation and mixed cropping. By following such actions, we would be able to reduce carbon emissions and greenhouse gases considerably. In today's generation, climate change is widely regarded as the most significant environmental issue. It occurs when the weather changes in a given location, potentially causing harm to humans and wildlife. Since many adverse weather occurrences will occur, this might have a severe effect. However, it is yet too late for us to save our world and mitigate climate change effects. We may achieve this by planting more trees, recycling, proper segregation of waste, conserving electricity and water, and utilizing renewable energy sources. These are just a few instances of how we may prevent climate change using basic methods. We must not forget that there is no other planet like Earth. Thus, we must all contribute to its preservation, not just for ourselves but also for future generations.